Yes, people, welcome to the Isolation Ratcave. I am here today to take you through the Numark DJ2GO2 TOUCH controller and how you can work it with Spotify. So the Numark DJ2GO2 TOUCH is compatible with Algoriddims app DJ, which has got a Spotify link, which obviously means that now this dinky little Numark DJ2GO2 TOUCH is compatible to DJ with Spotify. I should say at this point as well, you do need a Spotify premium account for this to work, and also you need the full version of the Algoriddim DJ app, which is either via a monthly subscription or you can just buy it outright on the App Store. So the most important thing about this setup is this adapter here. This won't work unless you use this adapter. So this adapter is an Apple Lightning to camera adapter. That's what it's called. There are others available that aren't actual Apple branded, but they won't work. It's only the official Apple adapter that works. So why is it so important? This Numark controller doesn't have a power source to plug into the wall. It is USB powered. So that means normally if you're using this with a laptop with Serato, that is how it is powered through the laptop. So a laptop gives enough power to turn this controller on, but a phone or an iPad doesn't give enough power out to power the controller. So what we have to do is provide this controller with power. So as you can see here, my nice little pink cable, this adapter goes into the iPhone, and then it has got a charging port here, and then the USB input here, which is connected into the controller. This charging cable here is into a plug. So the plug is putting power into the phone and also the controller through this cable here. So just to reiterate, without this adapter, this setup will not work. So when the controller is plugged into your phone via this adapter, when you open the DJ app, it will recognize it. If it doesn't recognize it, you go into settings here by pressing this logo at the top, settings, which is that cog down there, scroll down, go into MIDI devices, and as you can see, DJ2GO2 TOUCH, it's been found there, but if it's not there, you've got yourself a problem. Maybe try unplugging the controller, plugging it back in, shutting down the DJ app, reopening it, and all that kind of simple stuff. So how do you access Spotify within the DJ app? Now, as you can see here, I've already got 2 songs from Spotify loaded up onto the decks. But where you go is either in the top right-hand corner for the right-hand deck or the top left-hand corner for the left deck. You press on there, and as you can see, that is my Spotify library there. But it gives you the choice of either your iTunes music library, Tidal, SoundCloud, Spotify, demo tracks or videos, or your library down there. So obviously select Spotify. There's all my Spotify playlists and all my favorites and stuff like that. So within that, that is where I have loaded the tunes. So to come out from that, just press cancel up there, and then here we go. Now it's worth saying as well, on the actual controller, you can use the browsing knob here to get to access the Spotify library just by pressing it down. And then it takes you there into all of your playlists. And then you can go into them by pressing, let's go in there. So you go into there by pressing the button down, and then there is all of the tunes in that Spotify playlist. Now to load the tune, you can just press load 1 to put it on the deck number 1 over here, or load 2 to put it on this deck here. So I've got my 2 tunes loaded into the 2 decks here. Now, let's take a look at the pad modes. So on the DJ2GO2 TOUCH, it's got 4 different pad modes. It's got your Hotkeys, auto loop, manual loop, and the sampler. And all of these work within the Algoriddim DJ app. So to start with, I will show you how to do your Hotkeys. So I've got this tune loaded into deck number 1. To add a Hotkey, all you do is press one of these pads here. So let's say we want a Hotkey at the start of this tune. I'll take it to the start, about there, press 1, and there is your Hotkey. Now you can have up to 4 Hotkeys using the pads here, But if you delve into the DJ app, you can have a lot more. But you have to access those hot cues by touching your phone screen rather than using the pads here. So if you do want more hot cues, you just press this little button down just above the play button. Brings up this screen here, and then your hot cues are there. So as you can see, it's already got my hot cue that I put in earlier, which is at 0. That one there. And then let's skip through the tune a little bit, and then I'll put in another one down here. So now that hot cue is at 8 seconds. So I'm using the hot cue by pressing the screen there. As you can see, the hot cue hasn't come up on these pads because there's only 4 pads here, and that's on pad number 6. So to get rid of a hot cue, all you do is press that little edit button up there, and then it comes up with a cross. So we'll get rid of that one just by pressing the cross. So that is your hot cues. Now let's go on to the auto loop function. So to get on there, you just press the pad mode, takes you over to here, and now each of these pads here are a different sized loop. So that's a short loop, a little bit longer, little bit longer, and a little bit longer, so on and so forth. So if you do want a longer loop than what these pads offer, again, you can go into the app by pressing that little button there, and here are all your loops. So you can use this button to go all the way up to 32 bars, and then you just click it to activate it. So that's a 32 bar loop there. Or you can also do a manual loop by pressing in and out. And then as you can see, that is the length of the loop that the time that I press in and out there. Then to exit, you just press that little button there. So that is within the app. You can also do a manual loop on the actual controller by pressing this pad mode here. Takes you over to manual, and then these pads here are now what you use to put the loop in. So you start the loop by pressing 1. And then you end the loop by pressing 2. You exit the loop by pressing 3. And so if I just put another loop in, short one there, you can make the loop shorter by pressing either 1 and 2. Made it a bit shorter there, bit shorter, all the way down to 1/32 of a bar. So that is the 2 loop pad modes. Now let's look at the final pad mode, which is the sampler. So we just click pad mode here, takes you over to the sampler. Now these 4 pads are all the different samples. So classic. So yeah, you've got your 4 pad modes here. Now on this screen here, you obviously can't see what you're pressing. And you can access that by pressing this grid looking button here. So then there are your samples. So this is the Essentials sample pack, which I've just got there. There's plenty more which you can download, but I'm using the Essentials there. Now, as you can see, the air horn and the here, so the air horn is on 1 over this side, and the is on 2, echo bleep, and chord 1. So you would think over here that the drum hat and the cymbal would be on these ones, but they are not. So these are obviously different sounds to what it's saying here. Now to see which samples these are, you actually have to go further into the app here. So you press the menu again, that button there, go into Looper, and then there is the full selection of samples in this Essential Samples pack. So as you can see, Spaceship, Impact, Chord 2, Radio Bites. So I'm not sure why it's laid out like that, that you can only really see the ones for deck number 1. But to see the ones for deck number 2, you just go into that menu option, press Looper, and then that's where all of your samples are. So the great thing about pairing this Numark DJ2GO2 Touch with the Algoriddim app is that the controller itself doesn't have any EQ or filter on it, but you can do that within the app. So you do that by pressing that little button again down there, and it is that the little level sort of mixer looking section here, and that is where you get filter, low, mid, and high. So just a little example, the filter, obviously it's all touch like this, just touch your screen, that's your filter, and then you double click anywhere to put it back to 0. So that was the filter, cut all the low end like that, double click it, back to the middle, cut all the mid range out, double click it, back to the middle, and then the high. You can go up and down on those EQ guys. So just while we're within this menu here as well, so that was the EQ section. We covered the hot cues, but there is so the hot cues are in there, but there is a skip function. So what this does is it's basically like a beat jump. So depending on what size you've got this down here, let's put it on 8 beats. You can skip through the tune by 8 beats by pressing skip forward, that button, and it's all seamless. If you want to skip through 16, you can go all the way up to 32, skip through 32 or skip back 32 like that, and then you change the size just like that. Also, the next option to the left, that was where the cues were. So there is also this bounce function, which is a bit like a slip roll. So as you can see on the screen there, all the way down to 1/16 like that. So nice little kind of slip roll there. And then the pad does the same thing, but it's you do it with your finger on this pad, and then it adds a bit of a filter onto it as well. So the size of the roll depends where your finger is on the pad, and also the intenseness of the filter. Last but not least, on this effects section, there is 3 different options up there. There's manual, where you can have 2 effects here. So let's put it, I've got it on sweep delay at the moment. Let's have a reverb up the top and a flanger on the bottom. So you turn them on by pressing that button. So lots of reverb up there, not a lot of reverb down there. And then the same, turn the flanger on. Lots of both of the effects, so you can have 2 effects on at the same time. So again, just to change the effect, you click on it like that. So then a bit of a gate with the reverb as well. And then you turn them off just by clicking those buttons. Also in this menu, there is instant effects, which you've got these little effects here, and then again, you just press on them. So crush, twist, punch, sway, etc, etc. And then you've got pad effects here, which you can change up here. So at the moment it's on reverb. Let's change it to a stutter delay. And then similar to the other one, you just use your finger to control the effect like that. Then to get out again, you just press that button there. So I've got the DJ app here set up in classic mode with the 2 turntables, and I think that kind of pairs nicely with this DJ2GO2 Touch, because you've got the option to scratch on it. It was one of the things that they brought in on this new Touch version. But there are other views within Algoriddim. So if you just click that menu button at the top, you can go onto 2-deck mode, and then you've got the actual waveforms, which some people find that a little bit easier to mix. If you're more of a kind of visual mixing kind of person, you like to see the waveforms on top of each other, then that's a good look for you like that. And then in this mode as well, there's your samples, like I said before. And then over here, you've got all of your effects and those menus there, so you can access all of the stuff which we've been through before without actually seeing the waveforms. So just in terms now of the controller actually talking to the app, you can see here the crossfader, fully functional crossfader, as well as the pitch faders here. And then obviously you've got the sync button if you're inclined, and the headphone cue there. So there you have it then, guys. That is the Numark DJ2GO2 Touch with Algoriddim's DJ app, particularly using it with Spotify. So if this has been helpful, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, tag anyone which it may be helpful for, maybe someone that's already got this controller, using it with Serato and a laptop. Now they can use it with Spotify. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Peace.